Hi, I'm Charlene Shirk, your host of Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative minds in the digital space. And we're coast to coast today because we're going to talk to Cynthia Johnson with Bell and Ivy, and she is all the way on the West Coast. Thanks so much for joining us today, Cynthia.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell us what Bell and Ivy does.
Bell and Ivy does personal branding campaigns and branding campaigns, and we utilize digital marketing to execute on those. And what we're really doing is we're taking people and integrating them into your marketing strategies and into your content, because we believe that a people first approach to content is the way of the future, and I think we're seeing that to be true, especially over the past couple of years. I can't believe I said years. It's been a crazy couple of years. And so, yeah, that's what we do. We work with a lot of people, primarily in the tech, healthcare, and finance sectors.
And so why the focus on the people, and particularly in those sectors? Because you think about tech and medical, it's a little dry, it's a little technical. So what's the advantage of making it people focused?
I'll start with the second question, actually. So why those areas, finance, healthcare, it's dry, it's boring, it's whatever. But actually what it really is an area where there's a need to hear from experts, where there's a need to hear from the people actually doing the work before you hear from people interpreting the work. So the immediate need, and the most obvious is in those areas. Plus our background is actually in marketing healthcare primarily. The second piece is why people. Uh, well, you see that digital is moving faster and faster every day. So everything, Snapchat came out and messages were disappearing, and then Instagram picked up, and now you've got these voice and audio areas with Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, and there's a real need to hear from people in a way that we cannot rely on actors in advertising the same way that we used to be able to. And in the digital space, and most people in digital marketing will tell you that attaching real people to your website and to your content actually adds credibility. And it's very easy, or much easier, to trace online the person that is attached to the content than it is in an advertisement on television or something else, right? Because the internet can see where that person's footprint is, who they really are, all of their credentials that are online. And so we're like, why are we spending all this money on content? And just so you know, content waste in digital marketing and in marketing in general is a huge problem. Something like 20% of the content created never actually gets promoted or pushed out in any way at all. Whereas if you trust in your people and you give them the resources, the tools, and the framework to really help your marketing strategies with the tools they come to work with every day, like their phone, you're amplifying your message. You're taking on less risk in the way of content waste and expense, and you're empowering your people at the same time.
And so when you say engaging people,
Mhm.
can you give me a little example of what you mean?
Sure. An example, we ran a employee branding campaign, actually, pre-COVID with Walmart. And what we did is we went into local stores and we sent out these surveys and collected family recipes from people that worked inside of the stores in Utah and Tennessee and all of these different locations. We then took those recipes and we made them shoppable, and they were promoted out across all of the Walmart local social media channels. And the engagement was much higher because we had the person's picture, their face, which store they worked at. You could tag the other store. The content was not very different from what you would see Walmart producing, but it was attached to a real person inside of their store, someone that works for them, someone that cares about their business. And that content saw, 10, 12, depending on where and when it was posted, X engagement. And then the employee themselves was actually motivated to share on their own channels because they felt connected to that piece of content. And so that would be an example of taking a small idea and instead of implementing it out, hiring all of these influencers, actually cultivating and finding the influence within your organization. Because it's very empowering to have your company say to you, "We want you involved in this campaign. We want your face out there for the business." And actually, if you want to know what it looks like to be done well, you should really, Walmart's been doing this for a while. They actually pretty much hand the keys of their social media channels over to their store managers and employees, and have seen some pretty great and amazing successful campaigns come out of it.
Cynthia, that's great because, at the end of the day, people care about people. People don't care about brands. They don't care about companies. They care about other people. I think you've hit on a great niche. And thank you so much for sharing all this on Digital Champions today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. You have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Thanks so much. And that was Cynthia Johnson with Bell and Ivy. And if you'd like to see more about her work and how she's people-centric, you can catch her on dailyedbrief.com. And that's going to do it for us on Digital Champions. I'm Charlene Shirk, and I hope you have a great one. See you next time.